Welcome to this parent information session titled Beyond Academics. It's designed to, show you why it's important to equip our young people with those inner skills that are needed to thrive, where we are preparing them not just to excel at school, but to be able to navigate life and thrive while they are doing it. So most parents want the same things for their children. I know that I do, and I believe all of you want that. So I just want to honor the heart of parenting before we even go into what I have today. So we all want our children to be respectful, to do well at school, have opportunities, get good jobs, and live better lives than we did, uh, which is what we all desire. And normally we start having issues when this does not go as we had anticipated or as we had expected. And most of the time is because many of us were raised to push through. So I put here many African parents understand strength through endurance, but actually it's not just us as African parents. This is a global phenomenon, where we were all kind of raised at that time, where all our parents wanted was the best for us. They wanted us to do well because they believed education is what would change our lives. So that was the goal, to work hard, respect them, not to complain, to be strong, push through even when the going is tough, get good grades, and have a better life. So for many of us, it worked. Definitely, that's why we are here, but often at a cost. Who can relate that it worked for them at a cost? So what is that cost? The cost is that we actually stopped, having the freedom to express ourselves. Even when we did not like things, we could not express ourselves. Even when we were abused, we could not express ourselves, And we learned to numb our feelings and shut down. So most of us grew up bottled enough, which is what impacted even, some of our confidence level and how we actually express ourselves. So it came at a cost that, some of us are still paying unless we have decided to do something different. But before we continue, for the sake of those who don't know me, let me introduce myself and why this conversation matters deeply to me. Uh, my name is Hannah Lecha. I am a scientist by training. I'm a biologist by training. And I started my career at the University of Botswana as a biology lecturer, where I worked for 5 years. And then I realized that I was climbing the wrong path and I jumped off into entrepreneurship, which I'm still doing. I am a serial entrepreneur in the real estate, hospitality, and in the tourism sector. And then I went into coaching, which I believe is by calling, because I started doing this work before I was even a certified coach of some sort. But eventually, I went through a number of certifications, the core one being as a transformational leadership coach. And my work is at the intersection of identity and alignment, wellness, and sustainable success. So that's the intersection of the work that I do. I am the founder of Grace Rising and Rooted Grace, besides the other businesses that I run with my husband. So my goal really is to help people build that inner foundation to thrive in life and not just succeed on paper. Because I found myself there where I was very, very successful on paper, highly decorated academically, intelligent, and all of those things, uh, you know, but that came at a cost. And that is that transformation that led me to actually doing the work that I do. And I realized that uh, you know, a lot of those challenges happened when I was very young. And by the time that I was awakened, a lot of the damage has been done. So it meant that it was a process of really, unlearning and relearning, healing, to bring myself to where I am so that I can even become a better parent to my children. Okay, I think I've already shared that. My work is at that intersection, and I've Uh, what I've noticed is that struggles in adulthood, they all start when we are young. I've already shared that. So that is really the work that I do. So enough with that. Let's get to why we are actually here. So the part that we really talk about is that many adults spend years later learning what school never taught us. Like I mentioned, we are all decorated. You'll find that we are doctors, we are professors, we are nurses, we are engineers, we are architects. But behind the titles, our soul is crying for help because we are struggling with confidence, with emotional regulation. We are not self aware. Our decision making is a problem. We can't handle setbacks properly. We struggle with relationships and purpose and direction. And this is not because our parents failed us, it's because every generation gets to build with more awareness. What worked for our parents back then is not what was working for us, and it's not even what is working for our children. So that is where we really find ourselves. So the world has really changed. It changed for us as parents, and it means it's also changed for our children. So maybe you are thinking, Hannah, we grew up with our parents, we went to school, we didn't even go to English medium schools, we didn't do this personal development, we didn't do these life skills, but we just did fine. Why do we need to invest in this for our children when we didn't need it? And we didn't even go to English medium schools, we went to government schools. These are the comments that sometimes I hear when I share this with people. They feel like we don't need to be doing this for our children. We think like, why can't they just be like us? Huh? Why can't they just be like us? We were very resilient. We were independent. We did this. But the world has changed. And this matters now more than ever. Why? Because our children are growing up in a different, emotional environment. There is constant comparison in, there's social media pressure, there's information overload, both, on the social, media platforms and even at school. If you look at the type of, information that our children go through at school, at their age, we did not do those things. There is that performance pressure, both from us, the parents, because we want to measure their success based on their grades, and we are comparing them with other children, our neighbors' children, our colleagues' children. And they are also, comparing themselves because nowadays we are even posting our children's grades on social media. And there is early identity confusion. So all of this form part of this landscape that's like sliding down with our children. So just to share a few statistics, starting globally, nearly half of US teenagers say they are online almost constantly. I normally love to use the US and keep on saying we are not far from them because why? We are copying whatever that they are doing. So if nearly half of US teens say they are online almost constantly, imagine how much hours are. And take it even down to your household. How much time does your own children, nieces, nephews spend online? 90% of US teens use YouTube, 63% use TikTok. Bring that to our country and bring that to your home. So it's a global trend. Digital connections shapes attention, comparison, and identity formation. So bringing it back home in our context, what are our students facing? Because this is not only a distant global conversation, it's even right here at home. So 34% of Botswana students report being bullied on school property in the previous 12 months. 13.8% reported being cyberbullied in the previous 12 months. And 33.8% reported being in a physical fight or more, one or more times in the previous 12 months. And normally when I come to our own statistics, I always tell people that whatever that is recorded, know that it is a very small proportion of what's actually happening. Why? because we don't do the research. We don't really document the way other countries do. So these numbers point to the need for inner tools, not just academic support. And what does this look like in real life? Because sometimes when we talk about those statistics, we think it's far away. It's not something that's happening to us. But parents may not call it mental health. They simply notice that something is off, but actually it is mental health at that, top service level. Because if it goes unchecked, it falls right under the mental health bracket. So we start seeing low confidence, poor focus, self-doubt, children who shut down emotionally. They are not communicating. They close themselves in their rooms. Fear of failure. Because of that, they don't do anything. They don't even try because they don't want to fail. They make poor decisions. Friends, substance abuse, all of those. They have difficulty bouncing back after setbacks. So when they fail a test, it's like it's the end of the world. When someone laughs at them at school, it's the end of the world. So we don't want our children to be easily, manipulated or controlled by circumstances like this. So what happens if we wait too long? Because we may downplay it and said, no, I was like that when I was young. Sometimes as parents, we like to compare ourselves with our children and even ask them to snap out of whatever that they are doing because we didn't thrive in environments like theirs. But support is easier to build earlier than repair later. It's the same as even wellness. We say it's easier, cheaper to prevent than to try and treat an illness. We know what happens when people eventually start getting cancer. It becomes very, very costly. But if people could just start adjusting their lifestyle, eating well, moving their bodies, sleeping better, managing their stress levels, reducing toxic overload, over time, this is what will help prevent us from getting chronic illness. But if we don't do that, we end up paying the price where now we are fully blown in that chronic illness. And sometimes it is terminal, sometimes it is not terminal, but it is costly in terms of medication and in terms of our poor quality life. So globally, 1 in 7 young people aged 10 to 19 experiences a mental disorder. And suicide is the third leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds. I think last year, even this year, we actually recorded a number of suicides from young people. So the statistic is really coming down back home. So it's not like it's a far fetched thing that does not really affect us. So half of mental health conditions emerge before the age of 18. So we can definitely, address this if we intervene much earlier. So like I shared, when we were growing up, our parents were really, focused on getting us to go to school and get good grades. Why? Because that is what could help change our lives for the better. And that's what we have modeled. It's the same thing. We've modeled that. And that is why we can go to great extents to go and pay at very expensive English medium school, even if we cannot afford them. Because we are thinking that if only we can take our children to better schools, then they can get better grades and they can do better in life. And that's really what we are pushing. But the truth is that school alone is not enough. So academic success matters. We all need it. But that inner infrastructure, that inner capacity also matters. So the other one on the left, academic growth gives us knowledge, grades, performance, and exams. And eventually a qualification that we can use to get a job. But the inner one helps shape our identity. It helps us to manage our emotions and regulate our nervous system. It helps us to become resilient and bounce back after setbacks and make better decisions. And this is the ingredient that when we have the inner development, we can actually leverage the qualification that we have. You know, whatever is the qualification, is the certification, whatever is the job, we are better able to handle it. We are better able to handle that success if we are grounded, in who we are, and we are able to manage our emotions. So as much as we need this, our children also need both of this. So we should not just focus on pushing them, towards academic growth. We should also pause and reflect and see if they are really resourced, for life. They are resourced for this growth that they are getting. And sometimes when we have got very brilliant children, and we find that they struggle, which is actually a high number of brilliant and intelligent children actually struggle. I think it took me a while to notice that it is not actually even new. Even during our times, there were, brilliant children who actually struggled. I want you to type there in the chat box if you can relate. If there are other, children that you went to school with, at college, at high school, who did not make it, who did not even complete. So I noticed that when I was at UB, and you know what the pattern was? I went to a government school, just like maybe most of you, but there were other children who went to English medium school, private schools, and they are the ones who dropped the most when we were at university. They couldn't make it. Some dropped like the first year, some dropped the second year. So they kept on dropping off, And I think I really think that is a matter of resilience, really, because university life can be, it can be very challenging. So intelligence does not automatically create emotional readiness. So a child can be brilliant and still lack confidence. They can pass exams and still struggle with pressure, with decisions making, choices, relationships, self-belief, and identity. So we still see children like those. And I normally share with people that most of the children that we call bullies, who are bullying other children, they are actually children who are crying for help, who are not well. That bullying is a coping mechanism that they have just developed. So if the world knew this more and could come closer to these children who are bullying others and just see how they can support them, the world can become a better place. But most of the time, the approach that we have towards them is not the one that is helping them to really open up, lean in, and ask for help. But for every child that you see who is a bully, there is a child who is crying for help inside. For every adult who is a bully at work or who is bossing others and doing all of those things, there is an inner child crying for help in that adult. For any adult who is insulting people, arrogant, all of those things that we normally see on social media, that is a parent crying for help. And the only way they know how to cry for help is through, violence, is through inflicting pain on other people. But at the bottom and beneath all of those things, they actually need help. So what is possible for our children and ourselves? So the question that I want to ask is this, but anyway, before I go this, I just want to pause here and just maybe take a few comments from you. From so far, what I've shared, can you relate? Can you relate whether for some of you, it may be what you observed, in your children. For some of you, it would be your colleagues at work. It could be your nephews. But do you realize that there is a global challenge for our children? You can type there in the chat box.
Good evening.
Evening, Masero.
Yes, Maliboro.
Okay, yes, Maleboro.
Yes, so far so good. I just wanted to say I do relate with some of the stuff that she said, especially about uh, bright students who do very well at school, but they are not um, developed in other areas. So when I was growing up, our parents or my parents emphasized the importance of education, of getting A's and B's only. No time for for socialization, no friends, no friends, just school, get your A, uh, go to college, get a job,
Mm,
and then what? And then what? Because at the end of the day, life and the society, they need to interact with you, they need to relate with you. And at that time, when you don't have those relationship skills,
yeah.
you even, I even lacked confidence, especially when talking to other people. I still say I don't like small talk because then I have to talk about myself or talk to other people, and I still don't enjoy it because I was never socialized. I was never told the importance of speaking, of developing other areas of my personality. So it was just about getting A. But now that I've grown up and I'm more self-aware, I'm I'm working on those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should like you just said, or it's very important to not just focus on the academic. It's also important to help our kids develop other areas of their personalities, because life is not just about academics. So, and also you mentioned that kids who are crying for help, usually they inflict pain on other kids. Yes, I've noticed that also. That's very true. So when I tabere ngwana o bona bule ba bangwe a kgerisa ba bangwe bomo ke letsa o mo manya o le wena can they, when you sit and you observe that child or you ask the right questions, you'll find for they're actually hiding some sort of pain,
Yeah.
even though it's very difficult for them to share and to open up. You realize for Mehela, this child, there's something beyond what they are doing.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Okay.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for sharing. Uh, so that we are able to then see that this is real. It affects us, differently, but it is something that is real. Okay, Tumi, you can go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Tumi.
Hey, the reason why I saw this online and I thought it was very important or aligned with me is because I have boys, and when we just moved to Muchud, we stayed in Gaborone. When they were in Gaborone, they played soccer, they loved it, and then we moved to Muchude, where now I found a club for them because I knew they loved soccer so much. They just attended the club for around about 2 3 months, and then they started, they didn't want to go anymore. I tried everything. I took them to games, I stayed with them, I bought them new boots. They just refused. So now they're just staying in the house. They're always online playing these online games. They don't want to socialize with other children. I don't know why. Are these children any different from the ones in Gaborone? Or what could the problem be? Even their performance has dropped. That communication has dropped. They don't talk much like they used to. Like the noise has dropped. I don't know. I don't know what to do, doc. I don't know how to approach it. So
Yeah.
now they are becoming teenagers. So I don't know if it's the stage or is the moving or I'm just confused.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Mm.
for sharing. I think those are some of the things that we actually take for granted. Uh, Firstly for ourselves and then for our children, because we are never taught how to navigate transitions and change. So mostly for them is just that transition did not land well for them. So it's mostly starting from there. So that is where your starting point could actually come from. And then I just wanted to also share that when children don't feel safe, they don't open up. They won't tell you the truth when they don't feel safe. But when they feel safe, they open up and they openly share. I think for people that I've coached in the past, uh, maybe Maleboho and others who are here, you know how it took me a very long time to just, you know, accept this calling for young people. But before I did it publicly, I started help supporting my clients' children. And people kept on just referring their children to me. And I kept on saying, I don't work with children. But I would sit down with those kids and talk about them. So the parents keep on, "Baba bisa ba re ke bo ngwanake." They would say, your child is now at UB. Your child is, because they would come and we just sit and have a very, very candid conversation where even the parents would be just surprised that their children were able to just open up and share whatever that they are sharing with me. So I think it's not yet too late to me. It's just a matter of trying to see what change happened there, whether it was at where they are playing soccer, whether they were bullied or whatever that's going on. There is still hope. All right. Thank you. Okay, I think this, let's see, there's a comment there. Okay, Malabo said mine is 15, talks in installments. I love that it talks in installment. Yeah, there could be a lot going on. But what I'm telling you when I say this is possible, I'm not even joking. Ntubeki, are you there? Hello, Ntu. Are you there? Okay, yeah, I think I saw Ntu there. So, Ntu, can you just share
Uh,
how Loago transformed from Loago not talking? At least Malebo son is talking in installment. Loago literally not talking that much to now becoming this highly expressive young boy. Can you just talk about that too? Because sometimes when we are the ones selling programs and we talk about change, people who just think that no, this one is just winging it because you want us to buy the program. Elon, too, are you able to talk? Did she drop? Okay. All right, that's fine. Ntubeki is my niece, is my adult niece. So I have a nephew who had shut down since he was very, very young. Uh, I think for a number of reasons. Her mother abandoned her when she was young, so she stayed with my mother, and then she stayed with my younger sister, and then about 3 years back, my husband and I took him. So from that child who could not say anything or even tell you what they want, now he's able to express yourself. He can tell you what he wants. Uh, we have identified what he loves doing. He's not academically gifted. I pulled him from school at Form 2, just second term at Form 2. because she wasn't, coping. And when I took him for an education assessment, they diagnosed him with mild intellectual disability and recommended that we should not send her back to school because apart from being bullied there, uh, it was affecting even him mentally. So by the time that we pulled him out, when we went to the psychologist, they actually realized that it's like he had a minor stroke on the face, so they could see that on the face. So we had to go through, do an MRI and the whole process like that because he was very, very stressed out by trying to push and go to school and be engaging when he was not in a good space. So we pulled him off and then just tried to find other things that he could actually do. So right now we are sitting with an artist, someone who he draws, he's now learning painting, he's cooking, but most importantly, can express himself. You know, he really warmed my heart the other day when he was telling me that he's going to the shops. He said she's going to buy a present for a friend who is turning. And then today he came and showed me an artwork that he drew. So he painted like a flower. And he showed me and he said he's going to give it to the friend. So I asked, oh, is it a male or a female friend? Then he said, no, it's a girl. So you see, when they are safe, when you ask them, they'll tell you. So he told me, no, he said, no, it's a girl. I said, oh, okay. That's nice. So it's possible. If someone who is not academically gifted can transform to that level, then any child with the right support can actually transform. So that is why the important thing is, what if we develop these skills before young people reached a crisis? This is not about replacing school, replacing parenting, replacing therapy, but intentionally building that inner foundation that children need for their time. So like I gave an example of wellness. The goal is really prevention, is preparation and inner strength versus waiting until it gets out of hand and we are now trying to repair. And this one is one of the difficult conversations that I've been having, with parents for many years, is what if parents grew too? Because children grow best in an environment where adults are also growing. And I really learned this many years back when I started coaching about, how many? Is it 11, 12 years back? When I started coaching, I did this. I normally invited young people to my leadership conferences. I did these big leadership conferences. So wherever I am, I would invite students from the junior secondary schools. And then later on, 2017, 2018, I did what I called youth initiatives. So I would just host youth workshops. I did them in Maung, Frankstown, and Gaborone. So I grouped them like the program here, 6 to 12. So I'll do two of them, 6 to 12, and then 13 to 18, just high school. And whenever I talk to them about confidence, self-worth, they kept on saying, coach, you should go and help our parents. That's what they were telling me. They said our parents don't have confidence. Our parents don't have they have low self-esteem. That's the feedback they were giving me. The children, your children, that's what they are saying when you are not there. They were just honest to tell me that, no, please don't only try to help us, go also help our parents. They need help. So imagine what would happen if we are able to regulate our emotions better, we communicate better, we are self-aware, and we even heal our wounds, our inner wounds. Children benefit from both guidance and example. I know that most of us African parents, my age and above, we don't believe in trauma. We don't believe in all of these things. We just think our children are just making things up. But you know what truth that I can share with you is that most of us are actually traumatized. Because trauma doesn't need to be something hitting you hard. Every time that you are inflicted, every time that you are suppressing your emotions, every time that you are not expressing yourself, you have unresolved issues. The body speaks it. The body stores that, it keeps a score and stores it. And that is why when something happens that had happened before, it triggers you. Every time that you are triggered, it means that you still have something to resolve in your life, something to heal. So the truth is, we cannot give children what we refuse to develop in ourselves. So which is why when I started doing this Insight for Life, actually, this year will be the first time when I'm offering it to children of parents that I've not coached. So in the past, I've only offered it to my coaching clients, because this program, it has a parent, an adult version, and then a young people's version. So the parents took the parents' version, and then their children took the children's version. So that was the only condition that I would coach young people, is if their parents have been coached. Why? Because coaching unleashes so much potential in young people. It really transforms them in ways that if their parents are not transformed, some of them are not able to handle them. And instead of them maybe thanking me for unleashing their children's potential, they are actually now dreading and hating me for developing their children, because now their children are giving them a hard time. But not because they are giving them a hard time, because the parents themselves have not changed. They are not growing. They have not changed. So the environment is still the same, but this child is now really operating at a very high level of consciousness than the parents. So that is the spoiler alert for you there. So when we look at this, we are able to see what is the missing piece. The missing piece is really those life skills. It is that inner development that most of us as parents are now learning them now. And our children are struggling because they don't have them. And it's not even a joke. My firstborn daughter is going 24. She's 24 now. She's one of the, she did her primary school here in Maung in Matswani. And most parents then took their children outside the country. So most of her classmates either went to Zimbabwe or they went to South Africa. And at that time, we wanted so much to go. So every year back then, I don't know if it's still there was like a high school expo that took place at Broadhurst Primary School. Yeah, Broadhurst Primary School in Gaborone. So I heard about it. So I went there when people was doing standard 5. Yeah, I think it was standard 5 or 6, to go and look for a high school for her. I didn't bother. There were a lot of South African schools from South Africa that were there to market themselves. I didn't even bother going through any South African school. I just went to Maruapula, look at their curriculum, and then I went to Westwood, look at their curriculum. And then when I came back, I told them, no, this is what I found. People will go to Westwood. And when they were all up in arms, the father, my daughter, said, no. I told them, I said, Wipelo is not yet emotionally developed. A child who could close herself in her room, lock herself in while you are there and not talk to you. Imagine now sending them to another country, sending them to a boarding school. So I knew that she was not emotionally ready to just go to a boarding school or go and stay with strangers. So I told her, I said, no, you'll go outside when the timing is right. But as of now, you are not ready. I told her, we had a very candid conversation. I said, when you are ready emotionally, I know you can handle real life, then you will go. And that is why Wipelo went to the US when she was 16 at Form 3. So she did her Form 3, Form 4, and Form 5 in the US in a boarding school, and then went to high school and then university. Was it easy there at the high school where she was? Nope, it wasn't. The level of racism was so high. Wipelo is a brilliant child. And she told me that what they were doing there in the US is things like that she did Form 1, Form 2. So it means she did very well. So she was met with a lot of resistance even from the teachers. But because she was emotionally ready, she could manage those setbacks, She was able to pull through, but it was not easy. We kept on talking about it. If I had sent her there to the US immediately when she came from Maswani, she could have come back. She could not have finished. So that is why we want to support young people, because they thrive when the knowledge that they have, the academic, is supported by identity. They know who they are at core and they are comfortable with who they are. They're emotionally mature. They trust and believe in themselves. And they're able to relate with other people. So the missing piece is really a combination of academic success or academic growth and that inner development. Same thing that's missing for our children is missing for some of us as parents. For me, I think that's what led me to doing the work that I do, because first it was for myself. I never went into the personal development space just to do a business and help other people. No, I went there to solve my own problems. And then that's when I realized that, oh, actually, I'm not the only one experiencing these things. Other people are experiencing it too. So while I'm helping myself, why not also help others along the way? Which is why I always share that I'm also on this journey with everyone, even if I'm coaching. I may just be a step or two, in front because I started first, but I'm also in the journey. It's a journey. There's no arrival. So, okay. What happened? Let me see. Okay, that's fine. So this brings us to the 8 life pillars that I believe are essential, for our children and for us. So this is about education. It's a framework for life. So we all need creative thinking and innovation. That's what's required at work. Nowadays, people are being paid to think creatively and to innovate. It's not just about how many degrees you have. Self-awareness and mindset, presence and emotional regulation, intuition, which leads to inner guidance, purpose, which leads to identity and clarity, discipline, which leads to responsibility, self-worth, which affects our relationships, financial mindset, which affects how we steward our resources. So these are the tools many adults wish they had learned earlier, because some have learned them now at their adulthood, some are yet to learn them. So let's look at these tools briefly. So creative thinking and innovation, these are skills children carry into adulthood. So this way we help them think independently, solve problems creatively, and access original thought. In this world, there AI, where we are copy and pasting an internet, you want to really support your child to be able to access their original thought, so that when they use a tool like AI or a resource, they are using it to enhance what they have already come up with originally. They are not using it to replace their own line of independent thought. So we often try to teach this indirectly. So this pillar develops intentionally the creativity. Some children are born creative, but for the most part, they are not. But it can be a developed skill. So this is something that you can learn to approach with curiosity rather than fear. So that's the life application there. Self-awareness and mindset mastery. Do you know that most organizations, when they approach us for work, one of the things that they say we should help their employees with is self-awareness and mindset? Yes. 2 years ago, I actually coached a team from the Ministry of Finance. Your planners, your economists, and all of those planners. In part of what they listed, they said self-awareness. So this is one of those skills. So it helps young people identify limiting beliefs, internal narratives, that are holding them back, and patterns that actually shape behavior. So we also often try and teach this indirectly, but when this is developed at a young age, they begin to notice the thoughts that are driving their choices, and they can choose the ones that are supporting them and let go of the ones that are not. Presence and emotional regulation, helping young people regulate their emotions, manage their emotions. You know how even as adults, sometimes we want to think that people should not say that, people should not do that. The truth is that you cannot control what other people say. It's none of your business. You can only manage your emotions. How do you respond to those things that people are saying that are not making you happy? That's it. It helps them focus their attention and respond rather than react. What we are seeing now in social media, people insulting others and all of those things, is a lack of this emotional regulation. So what's the life application? Young people learn to pause, breathe, and choose their response instead of just reacting. Intuition and inner guidance, this one is the most important skill that we have lost. Most of us, we lost it. When we gained education, civilization, we lost the intuition and the inner guidance. Why? Because we grew up shutting down our emotions, numbing our feelings. And intuition is one of those things that when you shut down one part of your life, of your body, you shut the intuition too. And intuition is also tied to our creativity. So, and decision making. So it's one of the pillar. So here we help young people strengthen discernment, their inner wisdom, and their self-trust. They learn to trust themselves, believe in themselves more. So they learn to listen inwardly instead of only following pressure or what other people are doing. They're able to say, no, I'm not going there, when others are going to a destructive, activity. They can say, no, I'm not going. When others are eating something that's not good for them, they can say, no, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking that alcohol, I'm not smoking that cigarette. And then the next pillar is purpose and identity clarity. So this is where really our identity start developing. Helping young people understand who they are at core, what matters to them and where they are going, what do they want in their life. So here they begin to make choices from identity, not from comparison. It's not about what is my friend doing, what is my neighbor, doing. It's really informed from the inside based on who they are and what matters to them. And then there's discipline, focus, and personal responsibility. This one here is helping them build consistency, helping them manage themselves and take ownership of their actions and their results. So here they learn that growth requires practice, not perfection. Most of us, we were raised on perfection. We were raised to be perfect. That is why we don't want to make mistakes. Okay, and Tua says she's unable to talk. Yeah. So that is why they say that's why most of us don't want to make mistakes. We are trying to overplan everything, to the dot. And if there's a deviation in the plan, it's like it's the end of the world. And that's what brings a lot of anxiety in our lives. So now imagine if you are a parent who has been conditioned to be perfect, and you have a child who doesn't fit this perfect model. It means they're gonna live in anxiety. You're gonna stress the hell out of them, and they live in anxiety forever. Which is why even the parent needs to do the inner work, because sometimes we are inflicting pain and stress on our children and others unknowingly. That's where self-awareness comes in. If we are self-aware, then we can prevent some of these things from happening. And then self-worth and relational intelligence. So here is where you help people develop a healthy self-esteem, a healthy self-concept of how they see and value themselves. That's where they start creating empathy for themselves and for others. That's where they learn setting boundaries and communicating with confidence. So here, young people learn to relate without losing themselves in the process. So this is where there's that cutting of the people pleasing and the overperforming there. And then the last skill is financial mindset and stewardship. This is where we help young people develop healthy beliefs around money because most of the time we focus on budgeting, we focus on saving, but we don't focus on creating the beliefs that support a healthy relationship with money, which is why there are so many books about financial literacy, about saving money, about all of those things. But are we actually having more money saved? Are we getting wealthy because of that information? Not at that high level. Because if the belief is not right, our belief around money, our relationship about abundance, about prosperity, if it's not right, we are always going to be self-sabotaging and kind of chasing away that abundance or prosperity. So responsibility and emotional maturity around money. So this is what we do in one of the modules in the program. So the children start to see money as a tool requiring wisdom and stewardship. All right. So just before I, share with you what the program can do for you, let me just also pause and take in. Are there any comments? Is there anything that you want to comment on? Is there an aha moment? Did you see yourself there in the program, not just your child? I know sometimes this is the truth that we don't want to accept. Anyone who wants to comment before we proceed?
I was listening to you subtweeting me and just there talking about people who are perfect and putting their children in certain things. I'm like, listen to Hannah telling people about our things that we talked about.
Claire, you are the one
But
telling yourself. These people don't even know that I had a conversation with you.
no, but I think this is really the reason. Let me just say the reason I wanted this to happen is I'm raising a preteen. And I'm realizing that he's starting to withdraw. For us to talk, I really need to dig him out. And he once told me that now sometimes I'm afraid because I'm afraid what you're going to say. You're going to want me to sound this way. You're going to want me to say things this way. So I don't want to talk. So I wanted to help him to get into this point where he wouldn't care what I'll say, but he will express himself when he feels like he needs to. So I felt this would be a good program for him and his brother. His brother's already expressive. His brother will tell me, no, I'm not doing that. So I don't think I'm putting his brother in this program. Ish, I feel like it's gonna be worse now. But I feel like there's a program that every kid needs. We are looking at, we as parents, we're struggling with a lot. And had we had such things earlier, we would be much better. So I really believe this would be a program that it's quite good. Please continue it. I hope it's not gonna start and stop. And let it be an annual thing, if anything, that kids go through it. And because we are raising a totally different generation. These are kids that are so soft. These are kids that are not as tough as we are. These are kids that you never really know what they're thinking, and you want them to be able to put it out there. And we also need to be able to accept it and understand that they're different from us. So I'm very thankful that you have decided to do this. And I want to see what will come up of this, boys.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Claire. Yeah, no, Claire, I wasn't really talking about it. There are many Claires out there. There are many Claires out there. I think at some point I almost became another Claire, but I think I started much, much earlier. So by the time that I had my children, I kind of transformed around that time. I don't want to lie to you because there was a time when my daughter would be saying, we people didn't know English, didn't know Setswana because She had a Zimbabwean helper when she was 6 months, and she'd be saying, Mama, one shouter. So she didn't like to be shouted at. So she'd be saying, Mama, one shouter. Why are you shouting at me? So she didn't just like to be shouted at all. So we had a conversation, some years back after I had gone to did a lot of work, and she said, Mama, Kana, you didn't know how you were. You are now different the way that you are. So we almost lost you. So basically that's the kind of conversations that you get once you transform as a mother, and your children start relating to you differently and seeing you differently like that. Like fast forward to now, I can have any conversation with people, any conversation. She's been in the US for the past, like, what is it, close to 8-9 years. She's now doing her master's in the US. But Bibelo behaves like she's here. She's 24 years. But if she goes somewhere, she sends a message. I'm going to a friend's place. When she gets there, she said, I have arrived. Message. When she comes back, I'm back home. So that is really at that level. When she was at boarding school, she would say, okay, I want to go to a concert. The concert is happening during school days. So go and request me at school. I don't know what lie you are going to say. So we'd sit around and said, okay, what lie should I go and say? And then I'd go and request her. Imagine I'm in Botswana. She's in the US, but I'm sending an email and requesting that she's be excused because she's going somewhere. And then she's going to a concert. So that's the level of openness that you get. And why did I do that? I'm one of those parents. Like, I would go to the US for my training, and for a week, I'll request people to go join me where I am. Why? Because I always believe that experiences are more important than education. You can catch up on education, you can catch up on what you missed in class, you can write the notes, but there's no way you can catch up on an experience that you have missed. So for me and my children, I've always prioritized experiences over education. So that's why I could afford to just request her from school so that she can go, for an adventure or go somewhere and then come back. As long as she knows how she's going to catch up when she comes back. But that's how we rolled for many years when she was there. So it's a process, it's a journey. All right, so let's talk about Insight for Life, why transformation needs time. If you look at the market for young people, most people are just doing one-day workshops. They're doing boot camps. Nobody's doing a long-term program. No one is doing a long-term program. I did this program 2020 to 2023, and I didn't do it 2024. Last year, I paused coaching for the whole year, but I haven't seen anyone who has done something like that in a program that is long-term with young people. You can guide me to them if they have done that. If they are there, there are very few. Most people just do one-day workshop. They do motivational talks, which I do when I go to schools. But information just sparks awareness. Transformation is a process. It requires time. It requires practice. It requires integration. So real change happens through repetition, reflection, guided support, accountability, and integration over time. And which is why coaching always thrives over mentorship and training, because coaching provides that space for integration. It provides the accountability. So a one-day workshop can inspire development journey, helps integrate the learning. It shares tools that could also be implemented. So Insight for Life is an 8-week transformational development program for young people. It is designed to equip children, teens, and young adults with inner tools many adults wish they had learned earlier. So it's not about tutoring, not therapy. It's just structured inner development. The good news is that adults have a version as well that they can also go through. So if I was just sharing with my team that I'm just opening up this for young people, but if there are parents who can also raise their hand to do it alongside their children, then I'll open the adult cohort as well. Because I had parents who did it with their children previously, and the results were amazing. Okay, so this is actually an international program. It is developed based on a Stanford Master's University program that was developed by Dr. Michael Ray in 1979. And he offered it to Stanford University business students as a master's degree program. Why? Because he realized that they excelled really well, academically, but they didn't perform well, in business because they lacked the creativity. They were just rigid, the numbers, hit the numbers, pass. And they could not even, implement what they are learning in a meaningful way because they were not intuitive, they were not creative, they didn't have the awareness. So he developed this and made part of that master's degree, program. And then in 2002, after the 9/11, bombing, then they took this program and offered it to 400 women that lost their husband in the 9/11. Those firefighters and other people who were there. So the results were profound for these women. You can imagine the stress and anxiety they were feeling after the tragedy. So it helped them manage the stress, get clear, and then also start looking into the future to see what else can they do instead of just staying in that, grief mode. So then in 2016, Jennifer Grace, who was one of the lead trainer of the course, redesigned the program for Stanford for kids and teens. So that adult program called Clarity Catalyst is what was customized as Insight for Life. So it was taken out of academia into business, and then out of business into now into real life. So I am one of the people who are certified to facilitate this program. So I use it as part of my modality here. So what did people get when they did this program? There's actually even a professional, a one for the workplace. So there's one for the workplace as well. Same principles, but customized for the workplace. So improved engagement, improved behavior, improved academic outcomes, and greater self-belief and future orientation. So when inner development strengthens, the external outcome often really follow there. Okay, I'm not gonna go into those. So what is different in this program? Remember I talked about the workshops, the boot camps. The difference is that it is experiential, it's reflective, developmental, and facilitated in a very structured manner. So participants learn through guided exercises, reflection, group dialogue. They're also given practical tools that they integrate on a weekly basis. So it's not just about learning. There is experience, there is reflection, there is integration. So there are actually age-appropriate tracks for each developmental stage. I actually developed the young adults one because I realized that the challenges that these other ones experience are actually different from what these ones experience. So we have got the 6 to 12 years, foundations of community and self-awareness, and then teens 13 to 17, and then young adults 18 to 24. It's actually the same program, but it's customized, for different ages. I developed the young adults this one, from the entire adult range. Why? Because this is an age of transition. When young people transition from a high school, mostly to college or university, a lot happens there. A lot is at stake there. If they are not grounded enough, that is where they fail for the first time and they can't handle it. Imagine a child who is finishing, standard 7, doing very well, high school, doing very well, and then all of a sudden they go to university and the first semester they fail. It takes them aback and they can't handle it. This is the time when our young people start going into drugs, because substance abuse is actually like a coping mechanism. for young people. So most of the time when people shame people who are in drugs and start blaming, I just look at it because someone who's taking drugs, someone who's also crying for help. So they use the drugs to kind of cope, either to distract themselves from what's really happening or to just numb whatever that they are feeling. And then we have those who finish at university and they are starting to work also. It's also another area of transition that's not sometimes handled very well. So that is why I came up with this young adult range, 18 to 24, to support children who are in transition, between high school, university, and starting to work. This one, actually, I take them through the adult clarity catalyst version, and these other two do the insight for life. So next week, I will host an information session specifically for the young adults for this, because the challenges that these ones face are actually different from, some of them are the same, but there are some that are just unique to them. Okay, I think I've really shared about this, so I'm not going to repeat it, so that there is an experiential learning there. So the goal is not dependence on the program. The goal is equipping them with tools that they can continue using even after the program and into their adult life. So what can you expect? What families begin to notice when their children complete this program? There is greater confidence, stronger self-awareness. They communicate better. They are able to regulate and manage their emotions better. They make decisions on themselves. They are more resilient. They own their worth. They trust themselves more. So those are some of the things that you can expect from children. And what we noticed in the past was children who were not doing well academically started doing very well when they started strengthening, their inner core. They really performed very, very well. I was just hoping that some of the students who attended were here would come join us and share their story. They're not here, but they will record. I can share the recording later on. There are actually some who just amazed me from how they were in the program and how they are now showing up in real life. It's amazing. So like I said, in the past, we hosted multiple cohorts. We even had international participation. I think, we have one of the programs, there was someone from Ethiopia, and then there were participants from South Africa who were attending this. And there were families who enrolled multiple children. So we do offer a family discount if you are bringing more than one child. All right. Are there any questions, comments at this stage? All right. If there are not, let's continue. Okay. So the 2026 intake, normally what I do is that I host these sessions in the same day. I do 3 different cohorts, which is just like an hour each, because these are young people. We don't want to overwhelm them with a lot of things. For the older ones, we give them assignment. The younger ones, mostly they do what needs to be done there at the session. They can continue doing it. A large part of what we do here is actually mindfulness. So we teach them mindfulness, they meditate. So they have an assignment where they continue doing their meditation. Outside, they do have calming tools where they calm themselves. They continue doing that at home. But most of it, for the younger kids, they just do everything during the session. And then they integrate it when they actually get home. So it's a small group experience. It's delivered online, virtually. Most people would be thinking that children won't learn much virtually. They actually do. If it's a structured system, they get a lot done out of that. And if I can tell you, when you hosted it, There is no child who missed a single session. The parents were surprised. They say they didn't need to push them to say, come, the session is coming or what. No, they just ran home after school, sat at their desk and waited for the session to start. All right, so this is about investing in your child's life. It's an investment. It's not something where you are wasting your money. It's an investment that keeps on paying for itself, over time. So these are the normal prices for this program. So the kids version is 4.5, the teens is 6,000, the young adults is 7.5 for the whole for the whole program. But what I'm offering here is what I'm offering here is actually a discounted pricing just for the next 4 or 5 days, where when you pay in full for the 6 to 12 is 3.6, and you can also pay in 3 months 1.4 per month, or in 6 months is 750. 13 to 18 is 4.5. 3 months to pay is 1.750, and then 6 months is 1,000. And then the young adults is 6,000, 2.2 per month for 3 months, or 1,250 for 6 months. So if you have got more than one child, we do offer, family or sibling rates. We can actually discuss that when you are ready to enroll. So we offer those, flexible payment options that you can choose what your budget allows. So you can pay in full, or 3 months plan, or a 6 months plan. If you want a longer plan, we can see if that could be normally done. But normally we want it to just stress up to that 6 months, because it takes about 8 weeks. If we add the graduation, it normally goes to 9 weeks. So you are looking at about 9 weeks of that program running. So if you have a second child, you get 10% off for that second child. Third child and beyond, you get 15% off. So we have redesigned this for families who want more than one child supported, because, when all of your children go through this, they grow together and it bonds them together. So imagine if you develop one of the child and they become emotionally resilient and the other one is left behind. It creates, a gap that sometimes it actually backfires, because you have got this other child who is so grounded in who they are and their identity, and they are not easily shaken. And then you've got this one who is so fragile that when someone is laughing, they think they are laughing at them. They're just taking offense at everything. And it doesn't really, work well for them. All right. And then I also love to reward people who make decisions in a timely manner. So if you enroll your child on or before Monday, the 25th of May, you actually get an early decision reward. You get a 15% discount from whatever that path that you have chosen. However, the deadline to register for this program is the 31st of May. So you still have up to 31st of May to enroll your child if this is a good fit for you. But if you want to get that further 15% discount, you can enroll them between now and the 25th of May. So early decision reward is separate from the pay in full option. So you'd still get the early reward decision there. All right, so how do you register? I've actually put my name there, but I'll send you the number where you can register. If you are interested, can you talk to Umkhulu Let me just share Umkholo's number here for those who don't know it. So Umkholo's number is 77147919. So that's her number there. I think her WhatsApp is different from that, but you can get in touch with her or just send me a message. I can give you the WhatsApp number. All right, so I'll just pause here and take any questions that you may have. Questions, reflections, next step. So let me stop sharing.
So after registration, when do we plan to start? Okay, before that, let me ask. Really, early homo, you get a 15% discount. And then does that then you then have a 10% discount for more than one child, which means it's overall 20% discount on top of the
Yes,
early bird price.
yes.
Ooh. Okay. When do we start?
We start on the 3rd of June for the kids, the 6 to 17, and then the one for the 18 to 24 is gonna start the following week.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have another question here. The six, the little kids and the teens, do you put them in one group?
6 to 12 is one cohort. 13 to 17 is another cohort. And then 18 to 24 is another cohort.
Okay. So different sessions for all of them.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm asking, I have a 7-year-old and a 15-year-old. Well, the 7-year-old is already interested. I still have to go and convince the 15-year-old. So, but we are interested.
Thank you. I love that. I love how children, I wish Komuso was here. So during one of the last cohort, there was a family that had 2 children. It was a girl and a boy. So the boy was old. I think was around your age, was 15. And he felt like he didn't need the program. So I kind of knew them because I coached the mother. So then I told them that, okay, that's where we start independence. I said, okay, can you ask Caleb to contact my my product manager, book a session so that we can come and talk about it. So that's what he did. So Caleb, phoned Omogolo, booked an appointment, and then we jumped into a call to talk about whether he wants to do it or not. So this is where I started just helping them take responsibility. I told them that, you know what, I am a coach. I pay people. People pay me to support them to do things that they want. So I don't force people to do things that they don't want. So if you don't want to do this, then it's up to you. But I told them that, but your parents shared it with you because she saw that it could help you. So for your best interest. So she said, okay, we hit a a middle. She said, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then if it doesn't resonate by the fourth module, I'm jumping out. So it was very interesting to wonder what does she think is gonna happen on the 4th week. But that's what she said. Guess what? He finished. Yeah, they only attended on Wednesday. So he finished, and there was a time when I think he plays soccer. So he came late. The parent said he was so concerned that he's going to miss the session. So my advice is that as a parent, you don't have the ability to kind of force your child to do it, but you can refer them to me to talk to them about it. So it normally works that way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can try that route.
Yeah. So you can try that route and said, okay, let me book a session and then go and talk to the person facilitating to see if you really need this for yourself. Because I asked them a number of questions that reveal that they need it. And because they don't know where it's leading to, they just answer the questions, honestly and then honestly. And then eventually I then show them the gap. I normally start by asking them, what do they want? What is their vision? Where do they see themselves when they finish school? And then I ask them, okay, what do they need to achieve that? And then they'll tell me, I say, okay, do you think you have what it takes to achieve it now, the way that you are? If you continue showing up the way you are showing up, do you see yourself achieving that? So I said, no, I don't think so. So I asked them, what do you need? So they'll say, no, you need to be confident. You should be able to speak in front of people to do it. You should be able to do this. I said, okay, are you able to do that now? And they said, no. I said, that is what this program is going to teach you to do. I said, okay. So we don't force here. We help them see the gap that they have. That's what I did here for you. I was helping you see the gap and then showing you that there is an option to bridge the gap. So even with your children, it's the same thing. So you don't use force. We don't do what we were trained to do, where we were threatened, we were beaten, all of those things that we were, exposed to so that we can do things. Here you just get the desire. What is it that you want? What do you need to go there to achieve it? Do you have it? If you don't have it, let's help you build the skill set that would allow you to do that. Simple. All right. Any other question? Yes, Tumi, they only attend on Wednesday, every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, and then we also record the call. Although, like I shared, during the last course that we had, there was no one who missed the session. And I don't think there was anyone who watched the recording. I did it so that the parents can also watch if maybe they are curious to see what their children are doing. But I don't think they watched it, because the goal is not to create a lot of work for them that would compete with what they are doing already at school and at home. It shouldn't be overwhelming. They should look forward to doing it and be excited about it. So that's it.
So for registration, we just send names and send him to the number you shared.
I will send a form, a registration form. So that's why so if you can just send your details, then Umukulu will contact you and send you a registration form. All right. Any other questions before we call it a night? Ntu wa re ntse ga o kgone go bua kana ngwana kgona gore o itotetse hela ngwana ga nkgonne o sa batle o bua gone. So Ntubeki did the adult version. Okay, what did you say? Is there a registration fee if we pay in full? Can you explain that, Anna? Hi, O.
Good evening.
Evening. Anna, are you able to talk?
Tota I meant ne ke re ke a read a go na le registration fee kana ke duela hela in full or are it as a typo?
There are payment options. I shared them. Maybe you missed them. That's why I'll share the recording And I'll also send a breakdown of this pricing. I'll email, I think if you have registered, email so that you can see it. There are payment options. You can pay in 3 months or you can pay in 6 months. Okay,
Thank you.
as we close, you're welcome. Umugulu's children did this program, 2 of them. So maybe Umugulu can just share. Can you just share Umugulu with the parents here?
Okay. Please.
Unala assistant. Yeah, that's a rota for you. Okay, I think maybe she's trying to get rid of the child who is taking over the conversation, so she will briefly come back.
Okay, so in the meantime, I just wanted to say something.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ntubeki, and as Coach has said, I've done several of her programs, a few of her programs, and it was very interesting today to just be reminded that transformation, it happens over like a period of time. It's not like in a once off. And just that sometimes you'll just, get like that inspiration at a gathering and then it just dies off. But I feel like with the hair programs, they have really helped me to just, like, I just went to school. I completed my first qualification. I did AAT, then I did SEMA, but I just stayed at home. I just felt like I just have a lot of problems. I just didn't know how to now get out and start using like my qualification. I stayed at home for like 5 years. Now I was more fearful, like there's that the way you feel like there's a knowledge gap. How are you going to explain to people that you have not been in school for this long, you've not been working? But I feel like the programs, they just helped me to just be confident and own my story and just who I am. And even just with this one, I just feel like that I like it so much for my daughter. I don't know how she's going to take it. I'm just really interested to see how
How old
how
is this?
she's 6.
Gonna love it.
Yeah, so I don't know how she's going to take it. I'm really interested. But I do believe that kids, they're really adaptable. It's us who'd always feel like we don't want to do the Zoom, we want the in person, we want this. I feel like kids, they just go with the flow. If you just tell them, okay, this is what you are doing. So I'm really interested into this program just to see how she's going to come out and how she's going to be confident, because I've seen the program before, I've done it before. So it's not even something that I feel like I need convincing to do because it has worked for me. In fact, how I got here today, I saw the email. I don't know how I read it. I thought it's the kids who are joining. So now I tell my friend, I'm like, for your niece. So I forwarded the email to her when I received the email. So I said I didn't say anything. I just forwarded it because I'm at work, I'm busy. So now she gets back. What happened? Oh, she gets back to me and she says she has registered. So I guess she read it properly. And then I'm like, no, that is not for us. Young doesn't mean young like for us. So she was like, yo, naka itatela hela ma. Really naka itatela. So that is how I ended up. So that is how I ended up here. So now I'm asking her, where are you? So she said she registered for one for the 25th and the one for Sunday. So that's how I ended up like coming here. Now I realized that because I was just sharing the program because I believed it's something that and when they say the young, I didn't think 6. I'm just thought her niece is in university. So I just thought it's for someone who's like a university student. But so I was like, no, share this with your niece. I believe it's something that can benefit her. only for her to register and be like, yo, na ke itathela, be like, ah, le nna gona re ke itathele tsala mote re ta uta re ta nna bagolo ba babedi mo programming. So now I'm here, I realize, well, okay, I was here for my daughter so that I listen and just make this decision for enrolling her. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much. All right. Umugulu, are you back?
Hello. Yes, I'm here and I'm with your student here who want to share her experience. The
Wow.
other one says he don't want to share,
Okay.
so it's okay. I think it's okay. So the other one is here to speak for herself.
All right. Go ahead, Emma.
Good evening, guys. You guys might know me as your niece. My name is Rose, and I'm here to share my experience while I was in one of Malaysia's programs. So it helped me to improve my stage fright and my confidence. That's all. Thank you.
You are welcome. Confident overload Layuta. How old is Rose Ghana? Oh,
Rose is turning 11. Higher program. She was 8. Oh, no, like 7. 7 there. Somewhere there.
okay. All right.
Eh. And the brother, it helped him to express himself fully because then ele motho hearing how mmotsa gore o batla eng, o ira eng, kore he wasn't sure even food anything hela seo se mmotsa gore what do you want to eat, what do you want to do, what about, no, I don't know mommy, choose for me, do this and do that, but now wa kgona go expressa. Wa kgona go thusa sa batlang go se dira, wa kgona go kopa whatever he wants as a tshabe sepe. And also the interaction at school with the friends and other students, le go just participation and just presentation.
All right. Thank you.
And it was, I think it was 10
Yeah.
or 9 years. Now he's doing form 2. Rose is doing standard 6.
All right. So thank you very much. If there are no other questions, we will call it a night. Like I said, you will receive an email tomorrow.
One more question. I actually forced my friend to stay with me into this and listen. And now I had told her that you had a rule that you don't coach kids unless the parents are coached. So she's interested in asking, but I'm not being coached, but I'm interested for my kid to do this. Can she register her son?
Yes, she can register her son.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
All right.
Okay, I just also wanted to say something. Just when I was looking, I was just thinking that I also feel like early intervention really helps because Rose, there's no stage that she's afraid of. Like we went together to Lesotho Chombo, the homecoming. Rose was there, she was dancing. People were like, "Oh, she's your child. Yes, she's my like she's really not afraid." And recently she was in a dancing competition. She just said that, you know what, I just want to go for this. Like we could just register for the kids. So when we just give her something, she just like, okay, I am in it. I am doing this. So I'm just thinking that it's probably something that helped is because she has had this confidence building platforms like at an early age. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you for sharing that too. Yeah, she went for battling. It was a dancing competition, and then she was like, "Mom, I want to go and register. I think I'm ready to battle just in front of everyone." And she got position 1, and she was given a medal for that.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Actually, we called Rose leadership nurturing. I once used that branding name when I started because Umkhulu started traveling with Rose when she was less than a year. We would travel with
She was 3 months.
3
When
months.
she was just 3 months.
When she was just 3 months. So when we were doing all of those conferences, she would be like, in a court nearby. She was in the car. So we called her leadership She's a student of personal development, but I think the Insight for Life just, unleashed so much potential from her. All right. And then
Emma,
Emma, go ahead, Khomolemo.
just a comment, Hela, this is an important program for us to go through. Like you've said earlier, one of your students actually said their parents need this more than they do. I think it's true. Rona, as young parents, my babies are 5 and 4 years. So I've realized that when at those ages, they are so confident. I can see the difference between me and them. So imagine my kids being confident and now their mother struggling with confidence. So we really need this. You are doing a great job.
You are most welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah, they used to tell us when we were doing this with Umkhul. They said, ma'am, you should go help our parents. When I did, they were said, no, our parents don't have confidence, not at all. They've got low self-worth. So yeah, no, if I get the right numbers, I'll host the adult one as well. So I will see how it goes. All right. Good night, ladies. Thank you very much for your time.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Very much.
Good night.
Thank you.